Coronavirus has taken the world by storm. What started in China's Wuhan has now spread to 76 countries worldwide, including India. As of 2 p.m. on Friday, India reported a total of 31 confirmed cases for coronavirus. Though the screening process for the virus has become stringent at airports, the fact that it is easily contagious has pushed the insurance regulator to take immediate measures. You're watching Why Not Mint Money, and I'm Disha Sanghvi from Mint's personal finance team. Joining us today is Anup Rau, MD and CEO of Future Generali India Insurance. Thanks, Anup, for joining us.
Thanks, Disha.
Anup, now that coronavirus has, literally spurred so much panic among people worldwide, we have some reader queries that I'd like to, get them answered by you.
Sure.
So the first question is, what is the insurance regulator doing to ensure that if somebody is tested positive for coronavirus, he gets the right insurance assistance?
So I think the regulator has issued an advisory saying that these cases need to be treated with expeditiously,
Right.
which I'm sure insurers would do in any case.
Mm-hmm.
They have also suggested that people try and look at the virus-specific insurance product, and companies could file for the same.
Right. So, but what happens? Say I'm tested positive for coronavirus and I don't get hospitalized, but I'm advised to get quarantined. Then, will a health insurance policy still cover me?
It will, because frankly, the treatment for this is isolation, quarantine, fluids and rest, and then finally recovery. So there's no really traditional treatment for this in terms of medicines, etc. And quarantine does cost money. So that is something the insurer would pay for.
And that will be considered as hospitalization expense?
Yes, of course.
Okay, and what happens if somebody is not able to, get quarantined in a hospital-like situation?
So a lot of insurance policies anyway cover that kind of treatment.
Okay.
So it'll fall under that ambit.
Okay, and what happens, say I file a claim, will the insurer then ask me for my travel history and check if I travel to any of the affected regions?
No. So it doesn't matter where you have traveled, because this is a policy which was being bought in the past. It's a pre-existing policy. So except for the standard exclusion for 1 month, which most insurers have, the policy is good to be claimed.
Okay, so this might sound like a far-fetched question, but what will happen if coronavirus is declared pandemic? Will health insurers still cover the policy? Because a couple of insurers I spoke with said this could be an exclusion.
So Future Generali doesn't have this as an exclusion. So even if it's declared as a pandemic, our policy will continue it. Our customers can raise a claim, so that's not a problem. And I'm sure that's not uncommon. Most insurers would, even if it were to be declared a pandemic, would cover the policy holders. Is my view. The only exclusion is that there's a larger issue, right? I mean, if there's a question of the country being under siege because of a disease, because of war, for in an extreme case maybe a nuclear conflict, then a lot of things anyway get excluded because you have larger issues to grapple with, to deal
Absolutely.
with, right? But otherwise, they are good to go with this current policy, and I don't see this becoming a bigger issue. I'm sure the government of India will contain it. I think it's important that at this point in time, all of us demonstrate faith in our institutions, and I think we should be good. I'm quite optimistic.
The whole government advisory bit comes into play only for travel insurance, not for health insurance,
Absolutely.
Right? What happens if they have a critical illness policy? Will that sort of help them if they're quarantined and they're not able to go to work?
So let's understand the difference, Disha. A critical illness policy is an income replacement policy. So this is not a critical illness. Critical illness normally pertains to things like the heart, lungs, major organs, so on and so forth. Now, if you have a critical illness and you need to be treated for that, it leads to loss of income. So the sum assured comes in handy to replace your income. Whereas a Mediclaim policy, is used to cover your hospitalization expenses. But it's important to have both, because both serve different needs.
Also, the insurance regulator has asked insurers to design coronavirus specific policies now. So, what's going to be different about these policies, and do you really see many takers?
Well, they could be takers because there's a sense of dread and panic. So people could buy that policy. I mean, the upside really is that it's significantly cheaper, but it's specific. But Disha, the larger point is that the worst thing people can do today is to react to this scaremongering right now and buy a disease-specific policy. And just stop there, because the virus will go away in some time. Look, we had SARS in the past, we had MERS in the past. I mean, Delhi had, plague about 20 years back. We have cases of dengue in the national capital and other cities during monsoon. You had chikungunya in the northeastern part of the country and the eastern part of the country. So these things will happen. I think the most sane thing to do is to take a regular policy which covers everything, because there's really no point running around for limited coverage product every few months because. I mean, insurance is about protecting you from any eventuality, whatever the situation may be. And what one really does not want is that there's a sudden spike because of fear.
Correct.
I think people need to appreciate the fact that there's a real need for health insurance.
Right.
The fact is we spend a lot of time, effort and energy, making money, building assets. But let's understand, you build assets because you're in a position to work.
Right.
And in case your body is compromised and in case your ability to earn is compromised, it has far larger implications than beyond the 5, 10, 15,000 rupees you would pay for an
So
insurance
you'd suggest
policy.
that people have a regular health plan in place before they go for any of these policies.
Yes, and of course, if finances are a constraint, then pick this up for sure. I mean, this product could be useful, but I think the larger point is that get yourself a regular hospitalization cover, get yourself a critical illness cover, protect yourself first.
Right. And finally, is Future Generali planning to, offer one such product which is very specific to coronavirus?
So, based on regulatory guidance, we are looking at it. So, we are examining it as we speak.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Thank you so much for your time, Anup.
Thank you.
That's all from us on this episode of Why Not Mint Money. Thanks for tuning in.